Oh baby, today we are talking about the Sony FX3 and my first impressions. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, my name is Indira and I'm a content creator and photographer from the San Francisco Bay Area. And I was lucky enough to have my hands on the Sony FX3. I got to borrow it from work for the evening, and even just from having it from that evening and using it and playing around with it, it was so much fun. And I am definitely switching to Sony very soon. And here's why I'm picking the Sony FX3 over a Canon R5 or Canon R6. So first impressions of the Sony FX3 is that it's a very compact body, right? It's full frame. It has 12 megapixels, which I know is pretty low, but it's a video camera first and not for photography. And I wanted a dedicated camera for video that could do 4K 120 frames per second. It also has S-Log and HLG and all those friendly profiles to make your video tailored to what you like in post for coloring and adding your own LUT to the video. Some of the other reasons why I am definitely switching to Sony and why I went for this camera in particular is that the codecs are very friendly. So they are H.264, and also for 1080p and 4K they have either a IPB or an all-I codec. And that's really nice because even though the all-I codec has larger files, it is easier to edit in post and it's friendlier when you're editing. And I'm using a very sort of old computer that is not meant for editing, so I have to make proxies for even 1080p video or else it will stutter in Premiere Pro. I know, really bad. I need to upgrade my computer. But with making proxies and using an all-I codec, it would just make that flow of editing, adding a color grade, all that stuff much easier. And I really like the friendly usability of the codecs in that you can actually edit with these codecs instead of the R5 that has an H.265, and that most of the editing programs just haven't caught up. And so I like that Sony seemed to think ahead and think of the interface that we would be using and made it friendly for us to edit with. Some features that really caught my eye was that this has a built-in fan. It has a really nice grip to it, so it's super comfortable to hold. And what's cool is that you can switch out if you use both of the card slots on this camera. You can switch it out while you are filming. And so basically, if you have hooked up to an external power bank, you can basically film for like hours and hours without any issue. So if you make longer format videos and this is something that you need, then this is a great camera to consider because it has that built-in fan and you can switch out and just film for hours. And it's really nice for if you need to do like interviews or if you're doing like a podcast. Another feature that I liked was that when you turn this camera on and you are recording, it has tally lights on the top, on the front, and also on the LCD screen. It has a very noticeable red outline, so it shows you and it's very prominent that you are in fact recording. And even though that isn't really a big issue, like I've never recorded and then realized, oh snap, I forgot to hit the record button. It's nice knowing that you have that extra security and just in case scenario, so you know absolutely 100% that you are in fact recording. The other cool feature is that it does come with that top handle. You can plug in 2 XLR microphones and have pro quality audio if you choose so. It's really nice that it comes with this because again, if you are using this for a podcast, for example, to be able to have that feature and have that XLR audio directly into the camera without having to sync microphones is so awesome because it can be annoying to have an external microphone and then have to sync up the audio. If it makes your editing workflow and post easier, I am all for that. And I think they did a really good job in understanding who would possibly be using this camera, and that's a really nice addition and feature. I will be getting this camera soon, and then once I do get it, I will be doing an unboxing and a proper review, but this is a just first impressions video. But I will say that paired with the 16-35 lens, which I have tested out for the Sony a7C, I can tell that this camera is going to look amazing and that you can use it for different scenarios such as vlogging, getting B-roll shots, and it will be a very versatile combination with the body and that lens. And the reason why I'm getting this camera is that that's exactly what it is. It's a dedicated video camera. This is not meant to be for photography. I mean, if you're posting on Instagram, technically you can use this as a photography camera. It doesn't have a viewfinder. You can only take photos with the LCD screen. And honestly, most of the time, that's what people do anyways, so I don't really see this as being a complaint because the camera wasn't marketed for taking photos, it was marketed for video. And instead of using the Sony FX3 for photography, I'll be using the camera that I'm shooting on right now, the Canon 90D, that has 32 megapixels instead of 12. And this camera does have the updated menu system, which is so nice because I was able to turn this camera on, go directly into the menu system, and it was very intuitive. It was almost as intuitive as using the Canon camera menu system. I did use the Sony a7C, and that had the older menu system that the a7 III had, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but the learning curve or getting used to that menu system, it did take a while, and it was at times a little bit annoying because you really had to dig through the menu system to change the different codec. So it does have 2 card slots, and you can use SD cards, and I believe it takes CF Express cards too, which is really nice. So if you want to have faster writer speeds and be able to record video in 4K, you will need to use a beefier card. But honestly, once you invest in that once, you won't really have to invest in it twice, and you can just keep the cards in the camera. So that is nice that it takes SD cards and that it takes beefier cards as well. So you can always upgrade if you don't have the money to spend on a CF Express card. But yeah, guys, that is my first impressions of the Sony FX3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know, are you going to get the Sony FX3? Would you rather get the Sony a7S3? I think for me, the Sony FX3 is perfect for my needs, but personally, I have never used the Sony a7S3. I have never been able to get my hands on that camera, so I can't really compare it to what it would be like compared to using the FX3, so I won't really use that as an example. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. I will be putting out more content soon, and yeah, I got some cool stuff that I need to review. So stick around, and I will see you guys in the next video.